Good evening, my friends. Thank you, Rabbi Zulberg. Thank you to the base. And thank you to the Holy Yidden coming to listen, coming to learn. Wow, what a time. What difficulty. The prayers and the energy that we try and create to shift the immense darkness that Am Yisrael is experiencing, that every single one of us are experiencing. Our prayers, please God, and the energy that we're able to create tonight in our learning and every day that we add to our observance and add to our connectivity and to our growth, please God, should bring a blessing to the soldiers of Israel, to the captives, that they should be returned speedily. Please God, it should keep Am Yisrael safe, and please God, it should see ultimate tranquility and serenity and connectivity. But the question is, in the interim, the question is, how are we as individuals able to find a sense of tranquility in this immense chaos? How do we find a space of joy and oneness? How can we live our lives knowing that there is so much suffering? And a part of us can never answer that question. But Yakov Avinu, and the Parashas tells us, as Channukah as well comes along very, very shortly, to illuminate some very powerful ideas, my friends, that can assist us in finding a little bit of respite, finding a little bit of light, finding a little bit of an inner tranquility and joy that is so required to be spiritual. Because if we, my friends, are unable to tap into that inner serenity and that joy of life, the rabbis tell us that it's almost impossible to tap into our connectivity to Hashem and to share the love and the need of spiritual energy that this world needs. So how are we meant to find that tranquility? Bikesh Yakov VaYeishev b'shalva, the Torah tells us in Parashas VaYeishev, Rashi illuminates that Yakov sought to sit in a place of tranquility. After so much turmoil, after so much difficulty in his life, he said, Hashem, Gewalt, give me a break. Let me finally retire. Let me finally sit in a state of peace with nothing to worry about. It says immediately he was hit with one of the most stressful periods of his life. His son taken into Egypt, he himself thinking that he had died. And one simply questions, is Hashem sadistic? What, Yaakov wants to relax, he wants a break, and Hashem immediately hits him with one of the most difficult moments and times of his life? Why? So the rabbis explain, listen, as the famous saying goes, you sleep when you're dead. Hashem says, you know what? You have enough relaxation, enough tranquility in the world to come. This world is about action. This world is about doing. But my friends, I want to share with you something deeper. The Chayvus Levavis tells us that Hashem wasn't only saying to him that you'll relax in the world to come. Hashem was saying to him, I want you to discover a deeper form of tranquility. What this form of tranquility is a tranquility that supersedes, that is deeper than the external reality that your life presents. What this deeper tranquility is saying to you is you don't have to wait to come to Cape Town in December to relax and enjoy your life. You can find relaxation and tranquility and connectivity anywhere you are, even in the, God forbid, the most chaotic and tumultuous places. Hashem was teaching Yaakov, you want to relax? You want to find serenity? You don't have to rely on everything external to be perfect. Chayvus Levavis brings the verse that we are all aware of. Ve'ahavta es Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha b'chol miyodecha. The final part of that verse, b'chol miyodecha, the Gemara tells us, b'chol midah v'midah, every single circumstance that Hashem gives us in our lives, we are able to still discover a love and a unity and a benevolence and a serenity. How though? What are we meant to do? Because most of us are taught that only once everything is in its place, only once everything is perfect, can we then discover serenity. I want to share with you a story that I think can illuminate this idea of how we can find serenity in times of chaos. I was once meritorious to go to the Blind Museum in Israel, a museum where an individual can enter into an environment and experience what it feels like to be blind, God forbid. And inside of this museum, we are guided through by individuals who they themselves have lost their eyesight. We were given the immense blessing to have a guide, an Israeli man, a pharmacist, who still has a store in Israel, an individual who had lost his sight due to an illness. And one of the most poignant and inspiring experiences that I had had in my life was when we exited that museum. And on the outside, we were able to ask any questions we wanted. And I asked this tour guide a question. I asked him if there's anything that you could wish for, that you could change, anything that you could pray for. What would you pray for? What would you wish? And automatically in the back of my mind, I would think, he would wish for his eyesight. But he astounded us. The words that came out of his mouth was that I would wish that Hashem should continue to give me the strength to deal with whatever I need to deal with. Because when I lost my eyesight, he said, Hashem gave me the inner strength and the core that I needed to be able to deal with that scenario. And it blew us away. Every single one of us, my friends, have immense inner resolve and strength. The festival of Channukah teaches us that in order to illuminate, we take those olives and we press them. But what comes out of those olives is oil, and that oil is able to create warmth and illumination, to tell us that despite the chaos and the difficulty that Am Yisrael is facing, and please God, that difficulty should be removed, and please God, we should all be blessed with external tranquility and joy. Please God, we should see the coming back of all of the captives safely, and all of the soldiers to be guarded, and all of Am Yisrael should be in a state of peace and tranquility externally and internally. Every single one of us needs to understand that inside of us is the strength and the resolve and the connection and the tranquility that we are able to discover right now. But what it takes is realization. What it takes is the ability to transcend the intellect, what the Kabbalists refer to as l'mayla min hadas, going beyond our mind and entering into our soul. Understanding that right now you can find that tranquility and that serenity. It's found in your inner cruse of oil, in your inner pach shemen. Please God, Hashem should bless all of Am Yisrael. We should see immense Yeshuas. We should see the saving that we need of all of Am Yisrael. We should see the blessing of ultimate peace and tranquility. But every single one of us can discover that inner resolve and inner tranquility that we need right now. Please God, that should overflow as ultimate blessing to the entire world.